Too bright, too loud, too fast. That's how the world feels to us HSPs. We don't just notice things, we feel everything. And it's exhausting. Unfortunately, we can't just toughen up or be less sensitive. We don't have a choice in this. This is how we are built. HSPs feel different because we are different. Our nervous systems are wired differently than 80% of the people. We take in and process more information than 4 out of 5 people do. And this gives us a lot of information to work from, but it also takes a heavy toll. So in this video, we're going to look at why we're built this way, and I'm going to give you 8 strategies you can employ to shield your energy so you can stop just getting through the day and start thriving and sharing your gifts with the world. For most of my life, I tried to hide my sensitivity. There are songs I can't listen to in front of certain people because they make me cry every time. When I'm watching movies in theaters, I'm usually really happy it's dark because even bad movies at some point will give me tears streaming down my face. It's just because I feel everything so intensely, so I know exactly what it's like for you. You've probably been told you're too sensitive, you need to toughen up, or you're too intense. That's not true. We are built differently because we experience the world in a very vivid way. It's like we see everything in 4K when everyone else is watching 1080p. Dr. Thomas Boyd, who studied HSP children for 40 years, calls us orchids. Regular people, the regular 4 out of 5, are dandelions. They can thrive in any environment. 20% of us, 1 out of 5, are orchids. In the wrong environment, we wither and have a hard time just getting by. But in the right environment, we thrive. And when we thrive, when we bloom, we are more vivid, more beautiful, more potent than a dandelion. So that's the trade-off. Dandelions can live in just about any environment, but they never really reach as high a potential as we can. We, on the other hand, when we are in the right environment, our potential is so much higher than average. But in the wrong environment, we feel the impact of everything so much more. If you can create the right environment for yourself by following the 8 tips I'm going to give you in a few minutes, then you can really build a greenhouse that protects your energy and allows you to thrive and live to your fullest potential. The clinical term for HSP is sensory processing sensitivity. What that means is that our nervous systems read more information. We take in more data, we read more body language, and we process it more deeply. Well, it's because we're nature's radar. HSP has been documented in over 100 different species of animals, so it's not just a human thing. This is a thing that exists for a reason. Effectively, we notice things that are a little bit off, for good or bad, before other people do. I'm sure you've had the experience where you entered a new environment and something changed and you were like, ooh, something doesn't feel right here. I don't want to be here. And you couldn't explain why. Bad mojo, bad energy, a bad vibe. We describe it a lot of different ways, but we can't really put our finger on it. It's this behavior, it's this look, it's this way of moving. We just know something's off. That's exactly what this is for. It alerts us to danger, and so we can alert the rest of our tribe. At the same time, it also, when we hone it well, alerts us to positive things, to a boon for the people around us, ideas for our company or our friend group or whatever. We have that sensitivity, but a lot of times we ignore that because we've been taught that we're too sensitive, so we tamp that down. We spot hidden dangers before they affect our tribe, but we also spot hidden opportunities that would otherwise be completely missed. But we're not living in hunter-gatherer times. We're living in the modern world, which is built by dandelions for dandelions. It's loud, it's noisy, it's bright. For us, that can be overstimulating. Our supercomputer brains begin to overheat. That makes us feel like we're not built for this world. It's up to us to design our own greenhouse, to build the conditions that allow us to thrive, that allow our supercomputer brains to cool down and allow us to unlock our full 4K potential. The first thing you need to think about is your sensory diet. Think of all the sensations coming in that you absorb all day long as food. If you eat junk food, you see it in your body. You feel tired, you get out of shape, you get worn out, you get exhausted easily. Your sensory diet is something you need to control so that you are healthier mentally and emotionally. And the very first place to start is my first tip, and that is your phone. As HSPs, we are particularly susceptible to bright colors. Those are things that trigger dopamine in our brain, and we want to go right into them. Add to that social media and news and text messaging and constant emails, all these things, they just flood our system with so much information that it just becomes overwhelming. What I recommend is for the first 60 minutes after you wake up, don't look at your phone for anything. This allows your brain to boot up in calm, controlled circumstances, and it will change the way you interact with your phone for the rest of the day, which is going to make everything a lot easier for you. If you look at your phone as soon as you get up, I know a lot of people look at it before they even get out of bed, you're basically just flooding your system with like 10,000 volts of electricity when you're built for 110. It's just too much, and it causes you to redline. You might not feel it immediately, but it has a carryover effect through the rest of your day. Now, speaking of your phone, tip number 2, since we're wired to be stimulated easily by bright colors, putting your phone in grayscale is a really great tool. You go into your settings and there's a grayscale option, and you turn it on, you can see your phone goes into gray. It literally feels less stimulating to use your phone, so that when you do use it, it becomes a tool as opposed to something that you just keep going through. When you start looking at social media in grayscale, it's less stimulating and you stop doom scrolling. Tip number 3, if you work in loud, chaotic environments, get some noise-canceling headphones or earbuds. This is personal protective equipment for people like us. Just turn down the noise in the environment around you and allow you to focus your energy where it should be instead of listening to everything around you and deciding whether or not it's dangerous. I even do this at home alone when I'm working because it allows me to tune out the sound of the air conditioner running or the dryer in the other room. Just tuning out all these noises around me allows me to focus and spend less energy. But we can't always rely on noise-canceling headphones. Sometimes that's just not appropriate. That's where I come tip number 4, which is finding a restorative niche. I've never met an HSP who doesn't have a story about hiding in a bathroom when they're at a work event or a party or something because they just felt overwhelmed. A lot of times they don't even realize they do it. They just feel this urge to get away, and bathrooms are an easy, safe place to do that. That bathroom is a restorative niche. It's a quiet place you can get away from all the chaos that's overstimulating you. So when you're entering a new situation or environment that may be overstimulating or overwhelming, identify your exits. Identify places you can go to restore yourself for 5 or 10 minutes. It could be a bathroom. Stairwells work really nicely. I've even worked jobs where during my break, I would sit alone in my car with no sound, no music, nothing, just so I could be in quiet. Do what you have to do to reset and calm down your nervous system so you can get back to doing what you need to be doing at your most effective. And don't make this an Irish goodbye where people wonder where you are. Communicate it. It's important that you stop asking permission for this and start setting a boundary. This is something you need. So communicate it to your family, your coworkers, your boss, that you need 10 minutes of quiet to be most effective so you can give them what they need from you. And once people begin to see the real impact this has, they'll stop asking questions and they'll just go with it. A good sensory diet isn't just about blocking out the junk food. You have to actively consume healthy sensations as well. The first restorative sensation is sound. Instead of chaos, white noise, music, a lot of times brown noise is very effective. It's a kind of a version of white noise, but it's lower frequencies, deeper pitch, and you almost feel it in your body, and it's very soothing. We're also very sensitive to touch and physical sensations. So curate your wardrobe with things that feel good against your skin. Things that look good but feel wrong. They're too tight, they're itchy, they just rub you the wrong way. Eats up our bandwidth and our ability to focus on the things we need to do. Wearing comfortable clothes. I love really soft t-shirts because they just feel much better. I cannot wear shirts that rub me the wrong way, that are the wrong material. That's a very personal thing. It's a quirk of being an HSP, but it's important that you pay attention to it. Another great tactile thing is weighted blankets. Weighted blankets act like a physical trigger that tells your brain it's okay to relax. You're safe. So a weighted blanket or an extra blanket on your bed is a really nice way to tell your nervous system you're safe, it's okay to relax, and then you can begin to unwind. Here's another great thing that I make a part of my daily routine, and that is getting out in nature. This high sensitivity radar that we have was designed to operate in the natural world thousands of years ago. So getting out in nature without headphones, without music, without phones, and just looking around at the environment, seeing the blue sky and the green trees and smelling the flowers, and listening and hearing the birds and the squirrels and the sound of wind and trickling water and all these things of being in nature is exactly what our systems were designed for. 10 minutes outside is hugely restorative for our brains. So make that a priority. And if you can do it early in the day, that has a whole lot of other benefits. That exposure to natural light first thing in the morning is a huge benefit to everybody, not just HSPs. Make sure that when you're managing your sensory diet, you get both nourishing inputs while avoiding the junk food. Being a highly sensitive person, being an orchid, we respond to more than just the physical sensations of the world around us. We respond to the emotions. We are extremely empathetic and we feel the emotions of everyone around us. This can be really overwhelming in high stress, high intensity environments, a lot of chaos, or people who are feeling strong emotions. We pick up on all the energy and we feel it as if it's our own. I've had instances where I've walked into a room and my mood completely shifted from having a great day to suddenly feeling like I wanted to cry the snap of a finger. And I didn't know why until I learned that this was me picking up on other people's emotions. And when I look back at that particular situation, I actually know exactly whose emotions I was picking up on. That's an example of how precise a tool our HSP empathy is. And it is exactly that. It's a tool. We just need to learn how to use it more effectively. To master our empathy, we need to learn to identify the difference between our personal baseline and the emotions and energy of everyone around us. This brings me to tip number 6, understanding the difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is literally feeling the emotions of someone else. It's not understanding their emotion, it's feeling it. And as an HSP, I know you know what that feels like. Compassion, on the other hand, is understanding someone else's emotion and being aware of it without letting it become your emotion. Our high level of empathy allows us to understand other people's emotions better than most people, which gives us a greater level of compassion than most people. When you notice someone else is having a strong emotion, notice that it's their emotion, not yours. Understanding the difference between compassion and empathy allows you to separate yourself from other people's emotions. It creates some distance. That allows you to be more effective. This is what's meant by being grounded. For example, if somebody's really overwhelmed by an emotion, just don't know what to do with themselves, we can easily get trapped in that. But if we understand that we need to be compassionate instead of empathetic, we can step back emotionally from that and then act more effectively to help them. It's like seeing someone drowning, and instead of jumping into the water and letting them drag you under with them, you throw them a rope so you can pull them to shore. By being a little bit more distant, you are actually more effective. It's not less. One side effect of this high level of empathy is people-pleasing behavior. If we disappoint someone, we feel that disappointment, and we don't want to feel that because nobody wants to feel disappointed. Which brings me to tip number 7, and that's instituting the pause protocol. The pause protocol is putting some distance between the request and your reply. Instead of automatically saying yes to everything that people ask of us, we say, let me think about that, or let me check my schedule and get back to you. This just gives you time and space to decide whether or not this is something you want to do. And you have not created an expectation in somebody that you're going to do it, so you're not disappointing them. You haven't told them no, and you haven't told them yes. So you can decide what you're going to do. This is giving you the same distance as compassion versus empathy. I've already mentioned boundaries a couple times in this video, and that's something that a lot of HSPs and introverts have difficulty with. If that's something you want some help with, there's a free ebook you can download in the link down below. Now let's get back to this. This last tip, number 8, is kind of an extension of the pause protocol, but it's something I think you should institute throughout your entire day, not just in those situations. And it's asking yourself 3 very simple questions. The first question is, do I have the energy for this? It's checking your battery, not your schedule. Asking yourself, like, how worn out am I right now? Do I have a lot of energy, or does the thought of just doing this thing just feel draining and exhausting? I haven't even done it yet. Is this thing going to energize me? Asking this simple question will immediately calibrate you as to which direction you should go with your answer. The next question is, does this person drain me or recharge me? A lot of times I find as an HSP that other people tell me how invigorating and recharged they feel after spending time with me. But I don't necessarily feel the same after every interaction I have with certain people, but I have to limit the amount of time that I spend with them. Asking yourself that allows you to begin to notice who's draining your energy and who's not. And a lot of times that energy drain isn't intentional. It's just that their particular vibration in life is different than yours, and you're not necessarily compatible. And finally, ask yourself, is this good for me? Does this align with my needs, my priorities, my values? A lot of times when we're people pleasing, we actually agree to do things that don't align with our own moral compass or our personal beliefs, don't move us towards our own personal goals. By asking yourself, is this good for me? You're getting to that question. Ask these questions of yourself throughout the day with your own choices. Who are you spending time with? Are they good for you? Do you have the energy to do the things you committed yourself to doing, even for your own good? Or do you need to recharge before you do that? Are the choices you're making aligning with your own personal values? These are questions that you need to begin to ask yourself on a regular basis. And as you do, you're going to begin to see that you make different choices, and your personal energy level and your ability to give your gifts to the world improves. Highly sensitive people with sensory processing sensitivity are not broken. Nature made us this way for a reason, and now you have the tools to protect your energy and navigate your relationships and make better choices so that you can be at your best and achieve the things you want to achieve in life. If you're like me, you're wondering, why am I like this? Evolution made us for a reason. We thrive in the right environment. We achieve more than the average person when you give us the right situation. The fact that HSPs make up 20% of the population, even though we're a minority, we're a critical minority, and I wanted to understand why. In this next video, I take a look at the DOES framework to better understand sensory processing sensitivity and why it plays a critical role in human survival. So that's why I made the next video. I'll see you there.